maybe we can conjure up some ribeye steaks. I could go for that. Yes, on this auspicious 4th of July, we're here to celebrate the Battle of Canada, of course, because it's the two final remaining Canadian players actually in the league between Crimzo and Rolf in this matchup. They're on opposite teams. And of course, this is the Vancouver Titans versus the Houston Outlaws. Matt has to think about that for a sec.
Yeah,
as you should.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Now, Houston are going from strength to strength right now. I think that's pretty easy to say. I think they're well positioned. They're looking very comfortable in this current meta. The Vancouver Titans are continuing to run the gauntlet of extremely, extremely potent teams. I love the off-tank matchup in this series, though. Fried Wiener has really gone above and beyond. Going up against a player like Piggy, though, who is statistically, numerically, verifiably the best Sigma in the Overwatch League right now. If we get to see that, that will be great. Here's your Vancouver Titans, of course. Teru starts in with Dalton. And Chunks still, of course, at their main tank position.
Yeah, I'm excited for Teru to be in the lineup. We've seen Teru now a little bit, where you see his, power rankings by IBM Watson. None of these players are going to look great because obviously with the way the things have gone for the Titans, but Teru does have a lot of talent, a lot of explosive playmaking, can definitely turn some fights. So excited to see him in the lineup and get some more play.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're right. I think, an overall a team, with 11 losses, 0 wins, it probably affects their standings a lot. We use the eye test a lot for teams like this in this situation, so keep an eye out for some moments of individual brilliance because this roster is capable of producing them. However, consistently, it's like a conveyor belt of dubs. That's what the Outlaws are producing right now, and they are looking very, very good, Matthew. Dante and Happy here, of course, starting in. It'll be Jungkook and Piggy. Jungkook obviously looking pretty darn good. We're back in, I guess, a meta now where there's no sort of hero pool, so we can see him play a bunch of different stuff. He has been. Crimzo looked fantastic. I think we gave him player of the match yesterday. His Batiste play is, it's good. And it's always good against San Francisco, as it turns out. Today, he'll be looking to continue putting that pressure down. And Matt, something we highlighted yesterday is that Juby is picking up all those sort of roles that we saw Jake get subbed into play, right? Juby now, see him on the Mercy, see him on the Brig as well. Looks like he's really evolved into a full spectrum main support player.
Yeah, and I thought he played really well against San Francisco yesterday. That's one where they dropped the first map. They win 3 straight. Volskaya and Kings Row in dominant fashion.
That went close,
You beat a team like the Shock, and especially like that, you definitely have to be the favorites coming into this match today. Where the Titans, you see some of their players, they're still having fun, still trying to keep the spirits high. You kind of have to, right? If you come into the match already kind of doom and gloom, it's not gonna produce any better results. The first match,
I think they've been getting they've been getting breadsticks out of the table, Matt, because I don't look that happy when I'm cutting carbs myself. I'm telling you, if they're not getting breadsticks, they're not actually looking that happy, guaranteed. You're right, though. As I cut you off when you said something of value and I said something that was complete nonsense, it is Nepal for map #1 in this series.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a cast with us if that didn't happen, Just
there's no better value than compromising a statement that has some value with one that is just absolute nonsense.
I'm trying to get my Esports award nominations, but you just keep taking up so much airtime.
I already got mine though. You see, I can just phone it in now, mate. I know I'm not going to win because the panel's stacked with riot chills. So as long as I get a nomination, I'm kind of happy, mate. That's far enough for me. I'm trying to keep it reasonable here. 20 seconds.
I don't know what to say about that.
That's because you're too afraid. We're gonna have Shrine coming up first here on Nepal. And again, like you mentioned, Matt, the Outlaws are pretty weak on control, but when it really came down to a lot of those, the rest of the maps in the series, they looked great against San Francisco. And it was
the control was close. Yeah, it wasn't like the control was a blowout. So the Titans, they'll come out here, Symmetra with the Doomfist. We'll see Teru on the Doom. And then Sim Mei for the Outlaws. This seems to be what a lot of teams are opting to play on control.
Juby, first blood for him. Teru's already fallen, not a great start, but it's no surprise to see Doomfist in the firing line early. That's where Teru needs to be to have an impact. Unfortunately, though, for the Titans, losing a player early doesn't bode well, and the Outlaws lean into them for the rest of the fight.
Yes, once you lose Teru, he's like the big, obviously like Doom, you can go in, get the one-shots, but also displacement for this team. With no Mei to split people off, it's really going to be the Doom knocking around, getting those one-shots that leads to the Titans winning these long fights. But the Outlaws, they come out on top there. They have an Ant Matrix already, so Grimzo in the battle of Canadian supports comes out on top here early. See a nice TP though from the Titans, trying to wrap their way around, but a fire strike through the Ant Matrix there from Jonggu probably seals the deal.
I mean, Crimzo was not ready for that. He sees an aggressive sort of flank around, but he actually has time to get away. It looks like the speed was used to get Vancouver in that position, and you know, Crimzo steps back, Exo boots, throws down the Ant Matrix, and Bob is your uncle.
Yeah, and once they see the TP, the reaction from the Outlaws is so fast. They're able to turn that corner, get the Matrix down, and the Fire Strike is already going through it at that time. So the Titans, they have a lot of ultimates to work with here, right? You know, the Sim Wall, Shatter, Ant Matrix, Beat. The Outlaws, though, they can just play around this central pillar, kite a lot of this. The Titans are going to be the team that has to be the aggressor.
Okay, 2 walls up, so this gets confusing, but Changsik's looking for an opportunity to find a shatter. That Symmetra wall in his way is annoying. He tries to play in front of it, and he's having a word of the storm for the time being, but Teru's gone down again. Not good for your Doomfist to consistently be the first casualty in these fights. And again, the Titans fail to really put a scratch on the Outlaws.
Yeah, as FRD, he'll get DMAX probably staggered out here. There's nothing he can really do. I mean, he's going to get low. They're actually going to let him live, which he doesn't want to go back to the spawn and swap. He has the only ultimate that this team has at the time, but they're just sitting behind the wall. There's no opportunity for him to get damage down and get a new mech.
Oh, Changsik, he took an Ant Fire Strike. Junggu had him down extremely low before he could even really touch the point. Okay, Meteor Strike, Crimzo just Exo boots away. Teru wasn't looking for him anyway, it seems. The turrets, though, are so nasty. Happy catches fire and gets rid of Teru with that. Crimso's just loping around like a young gazelle. Doesn't really seem to mind anything the Titans are throwing. I mean, that's dangerous, Matt. When your Baptiste is sitting pretty in the back line, you're probably not going to lose.
Yeah, it's the Titans. They're running into a tough opponent. I mean, look, they're running into a brutal opponent. We talked about how their schedule last tournament was so tough during the Summer Showdown, June Joust. Here in the Summer Showdown, you know, playing against the Outlaws, they were crazy good yesterday, so it does not get easier here for the Titans. So we'll see if they come out on the Doom yet again. You know, Terra did get some kills towards the end. It was really kind of the only action they were able to get, so.
Yeah. Not ideal for the Titans. Constantly running into an Ant Matrix every single fight doesn't make things any easier, to be sure. Completing these kills is of utmost importance. Teru comes out of the gate, still in the Doomfist here. So wants to make an impact. You see, he lands that punch on Junggu, but there's no wall. It just displaces Junggu slightly. It's easily healed up.
Teru's
back
so
in the fight. Immortality Field has to be used here, but that's about the long and short of it. Fried Winner's able to find Crimzo, but Happy now, yep, gets onto that Diva. A lot of damage on Fried. He's forced to back away now. And he gets desuited anyway by the pursuit of Juby.
Yes, the Titans are really split. You have FRD up on the high ground with Teru, and he doesn't have a mech, and then you have players down on the low ground here. We'll see how the Titans decide to get FRD back with the squad. They're going to need the Divas. Changsik is actually able to pick up one.
Yeah, it looks like he gets the drop on Happy there. I think Junggu was protecting his Symmetra, but it was just Changsik swinging, getting aggressive. That's a great look here for the Vancouver Titans. They're able to take the Outlaws by surprise before Crimzo builds that ultimate as well, crucially. Wolf will have one online for the next fight.
And FRD gets his mech back, so you win that fight even with no Diva mech and really no Diva play at all off the back of your Doom and Rhine. So the Outlaws, they'll be behind in terms of percentage. This will be a TP to the high ground.
Crimzo drops here, worried about the Doomfist, presumably. I mean, he can just transition back to the high ground if he needs to do so. That Ant Matrix, though, was in awkward position. Crimzo throws down an early Immortality Field there, just worried about getting hit on the cross, I dare say. Great wall, though, from Happy. That really negates much of that Amplification Matrix's impact. And Sharksik's not getting away from this one. Blizzard's there, Immortality Field used late in the fight by Wolf. It does prolong things a little, gives Teru a chance to still have an impact here in this fight. No Changsik. This is looking dangerous for the Outlaws here. Charge across the point for Junggu is interrupted, and the Titans have a quick little retake.
Yeah, and the Titans are going to flip this back. You're going to lose Piggy, and everybody else is going to back out for the Outlaws. So have Dante switch over to the Doom. So the Doom seems to be pretty effective here picking up some kills, going right back to the May. So seems like if for a second there thought about going to the Doomfist. Going to stay on the May, try and get on the point, sustain a little bit longer. If the Doom doesn't come in and get these one-shots, the Outlaws comp has the staying power to win these fights.
Teleporter there, so quick movement by the Outlaws. I think the Titans thought they were going main, then they switched it up, get rid of the TP early. Wall used to hopefully isolate someone, but great defensive TP gets them out. Stunty looking for here something, maybe to freeze up fire, but he's too canny for that. Also, he'll melt the snow.
Oh, they got Chongsik on the opposite side of the wall.
Oh, he's won. Takes a fire strike. Swing would be enough, but look at this, such patience. And it's just as well for Jungkook. The remake kill from Fryer. We'd have nicely done getting rid of that Reinhardt.
That's on the board. It's on the board.
Yeah, mark that.
Get it on the board. Oh, I'm marking them off. Don't you worry.
Excellent. Dalton forced to happy there, though, and the Outlaws will have a chance to retake here. Much better round. I think it all starts really from some fantastic Batiste play from Rolf that sort of gets the Titans back in control. Chunksick as well, looked great to get that early kill. Now, all they need is one more fight, and they're in good shape. Good shape.
Yeah, and that's a huge remake kill because that falls in the column with the Titans logo, which is free. So now they just need 10 ultimate kills, which they have one.
It could be rows or columns, yeah? Yeah, so...
I mean, they could go the other way, but we're not playing any Sombra here. Yeah.
Maybe no Sombra, that's true, unless we get Oasis. Meteor strike here for Teru. Soundberry makes this a kind of a lose-lose. There's nowhere great to go. Fryweighter's already gone down to Juby though when Terry's going to look for something. But there's just so much going on. The walls are there. And he's going to get blown up.
It's a great Blizzard as well. Like, even when Dalton has that sim wall, the Blizzard from Dante is huge. Gets so many players trapped inside of it. Now the Titans are in one of the worst spots you can be. Jungkook on the flank with a shatter. He knows they're
This is dangerous.
I mean, this is so
They do not
risky.
know he's here.
He's
hiding in the bushes. He's in the bushes!
Oh!
Good sound barrier, but Chunksick is blown up straight away. He was one of the players shattered. Jungkook realized just the Reinhardt kill would probably be enough to do the job here. And the first time I saw that, this was back in Apex many years ago, and it's still, the homage still gets paid every time I see it. Fried there, all he could do is really stalls. We're in overtime now. Chunksick makes his appearance. Shadow was pretty good, even with the shield there. It's not enough, though, in the Outlaws. Some sneaky play there. Some chicanery from the Reinhardt in the corner. Nothing like being in a bush with an Earth Shadow. Nice start here from the Houston Outlaws, man. They look good on Nepal. Some nice moments from the Titans, though.
Yeah, you did have some nice moments from the Titans. I definitely want to see them play Teru more. I think Teru is a player who can definitely be a game changer at times for the Titans. The Outlaws just look so good, though, here early.
Good opening for Houston here. They're 8-1, and they're looking to, again, get to 9-1 in their first 10. Would be a great result for them so far. Don't go too far, everybody. We'll be back here for your 4th of July Overwatch League.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile. The Overwatch League is brought to you by Coca-Cola, the official refreshment of the Overwatch League, and by IBM, the official cloud and AI partner of the Overwatch League.
Got a lot of shine. Running up the number, that's a lot of crime. Try to take it from me, must be out your mind. Lot of sun. Smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Pockets running over with the dollar sign. Try to take it from me. Yeah. Big time. Big time. Big time. Big time.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Overwatch League. Our first map in this series was a pretty brief, brisk affair. The Titans looked pretty good on Village in Nepal, to be fair, but it was the Outlaws that ended up washing over them towards the end here. And again, you know, maybe the only bump that we should expect in this series, given the Outlaws seem to be exceedingly good at a lot of what the map pool offers when it comes to a hybrid assault and escort maps. We have a substitution here, though, Matthew. Linksa comes in for Teru, and now I want to cross to you for a special report. I need my breadsticks update. Yeah, we're going to beat this dead horse.
Well, we could also talk about why Linkser's in, probably to play some hit scan on Gibraltar. You know, maybe some Ashe, McCree, Widow type of play. But yeah, I mean, you know, breadsticks is... it's what's on the menu today. Well, potentially on the menu.
How are we going? Like, tell us about our progress.
So the D.Va remake kill has happened. By my judgment, we have had one final below via melee, and we have had one ultimate elimination. And that is where we are on the board. So if you can do the math and add that up, this is what the board looks like currently. So, you know, we need 9. If you wanted breadsticks going vertical, you need 9 more ultimate elims. You know, horizontally, we have to have somebody play Sombra and hit a quad EMP, and then we just need 5 headshots from that point. So maybe they'll be able to do it. But we can take a look at the map leaderboard here, presented by Xfinity for Watchpoint Gibraltar all time. And the Titans have, you know, they're pretty good at this. Had a good time back in 2019. None of the players are still here, but the Outlaws in 2018 almost set an even better time. A lot of these rosters have changed since then. Linkser was probably on the Outlaws for that match, funny enough, but now he's on the Titans.
Yep, it's likely that he was. What a mainstay Linkser was on this Outlaws roster for quite some time. Again, one of our longest serving Overwatch League players. Linkser's been around since the very beginning and even before that.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of... Not many players still, you know, around from our inaugural season, right? I think it was
Dante on the Shock, right? He was.
Yeah, Dante was on the Shock. You know, you also had Linkser on the Outlaws.
Right.
This match currently in the game, I believe that's it.
That's it. Yes.
Across the board, but I think it just kind of shows how strong some of these players are and have remained to be throughout the seasons, where. We've seen players come and go, not be able to adapt to the times. You still see some players from Season 1 putting up good performances.
So let's talk about this Vancouver composition, Matt. Feels a little defensive with Linkser playing the McCree.
Yeah, double bubble for both teams. You wanted him on the McCree here because you probably thought that you're going to have a Tracer on the other side. Whether it be Happy or Dante. Happy will go to Widow here.
This is a treat.
Yeah, and he is fantastic at Widowmaker. This is a troubling pick though, because you can't play in the sightlines as McCree now. And even if you have a dive that comes in, you know, Linkser goes to try and fight it. I mean, you see his health bar at the bottom, so low already, he gets taken out.
That was actually insane whip shot there from Juby. You see Fried Wiener actually gives Chunksy a bubble, but it's a little too late. So Chunksy had already got boofed off course, and then comes in the bubble, which means that it looks like Linkser was just a little bit vulnerable there. Is this? It is the return of Dinksa. Switching to the Widowmaker now, securing a Widow v Widow duel against Happy. This is a generational battle here of Widowmakers, if I'm honest with you. and both of them strike in this fight. Dalton falls to Happy's hand, but Juby's gone down. The Outlaws, though, they're not done yet. They have that high ground. They want to push up. The Widowmaker kills, dominating this fight, but the Outlaws still have a strong foothold.
Yeah, and you lost Fried Wiener a little bit late there. The Outlaws, they take advantage of it. They push up, and the Widowmakers just trade kills on both sides, but that's going to favor the Outlaws in that situation. Is Dalton slept here. This is get the recall off, but I mean, yeah, he's not getting out. So now you're going to have to wait for him for a while. Look at this. Jungwoo is taking position on top of the ship.
Yeah, you can't insta-kill the Tracer there. So I guess hit the body block after the fact. I wonder if they communicated that, which is why the wisdom was there. I get excited for that kind of stuff. Don't mind me. I love Ana. All right, here's Graviton Surge. Piggy fires that one off and getting in the middle of it there. Dante able to find two quick ones. Crimzo, he's off that nano boost. Was that to Dante?
I don't exactly know who got nanoed, but yeah. I do know that Crimzo hit a huge biotic grenade when the grab comes down inside of that
that's
ship.
Why there was assists, sure.
Yeah, they were not able to get any healing whatsoever, and this is just beautiful map control by the Outlaws. On the defensive side, you need to control this position. The Outlaws, after they get the pick on Dalton, push right up and take it.
I love that. Dante, I think, is looking at Jungwoo's screen to see when he's going.
Yeah.
He looks towards the left-hand side just so he knows he can time himself with his teammate without Jungwoo actually having to call it and potentially clutter the communication structure. I love that.
So clean here. Houston has 5 minutes and 30 on the clock. 3 players get front spawn, so we're all going to have to jump off the side. And now this gets into, the dangerous territory of having one of those best times being set.
Yeah. 420, I think it is.
Yeah, no grab for the Titans here. Rally. You're gonna have to be very careful if you're fire to not pop that and kind of get your head peeled off. You lose Linkser here at the start, so now you don't have the Widow to challenge. You don't have the Widow to challenge Happy, and it's gonna be a rally from the Outlaws as they go in.
Graviton Surge here. Dalton able to find a kill on GB. Could have been even more if Crimzo hadn't already been removed from the equation. It looks like, Matt, Jungwoo went to the high ground, forced Linkser down, and there was a pincer in the low ground. So that grab really saved the Titans' bacon.
Yeah, they absolutely needed that. Without that grab, we could be looking at a new record time here. As Dante will switch over to Echo. So going to put even more pressure on Linkser, right? He's got to deal with Happy's Widowmaker and now Dante's Echo up in the sky. One of the best in the league.
And Linkser actually has to take Fried Wiener headshot. Not good, another one. Chucksing so low. He's forced to Primal. Now, maybe he would have Primaled there anyway, but still, that is scary stuff. You've got to be quick on that Q key, and you've got to respect what Happy can do. Jungwoo's Primal here is causing a bit of disarray on the high ground, but with Junksik coming to help his teammates out, he's able to deal with Jungwoo.
But look at how long he's occupied both supports. I mean, the card is rolling towards the end of the map.
That's why Dalton, even with a recall, ends up getting taken down, I'd say. Linkser dangerous, always in this situation. You can see that Dante respects his opponent from many seasons past. And the pulse here from Dalton definitely needs to be crisp.
I need a big one as Piggy has his grab. You have some big key ultimates, rally, grab, and the duplicate online. So Dante can duplicate Chongsick, get into the backline, cause a ton of issues.
Not a lot of charge for Piggy right now, which is frustrating. But he wants to grab. And he's telegraphing some aggression there. They know what's coming, the Titans, but can they do anything about it is the other question. They catch both supports in there. That's perfect from Piggy. Tough because the Titans know the grab's coming, Matt, so they're sort of spreading a bunch, but what do you do about 2 grabs? Huh?
Nothing. Links are just sitting at the spawn or Chongsick. They're using Primal, just trying to stay alive in a little bit longer. As you might have one more contest here from the Titans. You're going to have Dalton get a touch.
Sleep on Dante, but Jungwoo will body block. There'll also be a bubble deployed. Jungwoo was the Primal now. It could be pretty dangerous. It had to be a shield bash forward by Fire. Not necessarily the target you want to hit with that, but he had to stay alive and in the fight. Graviton Surge used there. Fire still hanging on, but now he's going to get focused down. Dalton's doing work in the back line, though. That's huge. Happy has fallen. Chunksick on the Wrecking Ball having quite the impact, and Jungwoo's forced to jump away. Dalton gets a third in this fight.
All right, so the Titans, the defense, it looked really bad up until this final point. I think from point A to B, you can really write it off to not having any type of high ground control, but now that they started to stabilize here towards the end, it's been about a 3-minute hold thus far. As Happy goes over to the Widowmaker, wants to play a little bit more close range. Playing the McCree, wants to play a little bit more close range.
Okay, Jungkook dives.
He gets low.
Stick on the outside of the shield. Yep. Happy gets caught by that one, oddly enough. Maybe a little bit too close there to Juby. And that's a huge kill. Get rid of the McCree here as the Outlaws take a bit more of a respectful stance by switching to this McCree off the Widow. That means that Linkser actually might get to play a little bit more aggressively.
Yeah, so you're going to have to back out here. Piggy ends up using the grab. Maybe thinks some players coming off the spawn, but that is not good there for the Outlaws.
Dalton's come alive in the last couple of minutes here, Matt.
My ultimate is charging.
Oh, yeah.
Crucial pulse just now. A 3K in the fight before that, just decimating the Outlaws' backline. He's your man right now. 1 minute left in the round for Houston to come up with something. There's an Nano boost here, but Linkser. Oh my, Crimzo. Fortunate not to get picked off there. He now needs to stand behind that stack for another 8 or so seconds.
Yeah, they just got to wait this out. They're trying to get they have the Nano now. They're just going to wait and try and get the duplicate as well. Dante's so close to that ult. It's going to be the Nano on a Jungkook going in.
Bubble on fire. Juby going to come in with a rally here, and they're getting aggressive. Jungkook would like to build a Primal Rage, but not at the cost of his own life right now. Fried is very charged up right now. Jungkook needs to respect that, but he gets that Primal available. He's a bit wary of the sleep dart, but now that that's been used, he can pop ult in just a moment. Chunk's in a bit of trouble now, but it's going to be a Graviton Surge from Fried. He still goes down. It was desperation, it seems, and not nearly enough to stop the bleed. The Outlaws here running on all cylinders, and they're going to get to the end of the map with 11 seconds in the bank.
That's still good for the Titans, though, considering where we were. 5 minutes, 30 seconds to get to that final point. And you're able to hold them, finishing the map with only 11 seconds. That's pretty strong there from Vancouver on that final point. So we'll see if they can get anything going on offense. Their strong stance on defense will go all for nothing if they're not able to make it work. Absolutely.
They definitely need to turn around, and I think Johnny mentioned it as well, is that pace is one of the most important aspects that you're looking for in this current meta, especially with the double bubble composition. And the Titans will definitely need to go for something like that. Chunk 6 look good though. I will say that, Matt. He's quite good on this map. Fried has a pretty nasty Zarya there. Obviously has a big grab a couple fights before that last one, which is a little bit more improvised. Houston,
it's one of the better looks we've seen from the Titans. Obviously not the middle portion of the map, but there towards the end. The Outlaws will play double shield Torb Widow. Very, very stationary. We'll take a look here.
Here's these Widow kills.
POV. Yeah.
Hello. Hey, excuse me.
Not bad.
Excuse me. That is, Linkser gets 2 kills at that same time, but what the heck?
If I remember correctly, too, with Happy, he plays with the Widowmaker setting that is, quite odd. I believe he plays with the scope on toggle.
Oh, we know he's not normally, Matt.
Yeah, it's very odd.
That's an extra input to drop his scope. That's so strange.
Yeah.
Okay, so you know why some players do it, by the way? Because they don't like actually having to grip the mouse, put extra pressure on the mouse to hold scope while they fire. They find it's much easier to not have to hold down another finger while they shoot. Some players also have their scope on mouse wheel, oddly enough. So there might be something there.
Halt comes in. Nice defense matrix there from FRD, preventing any of that damage coming down on the Linkser.
Linkser on the Hangzhou here. Piggy on the vaunted Sigma. I think that's something you've got to keep an eye out for. He had some ungodly eats on this map against... Where was this map against? San Francisco, right? Guys, that's nasty.
I believe so.
It's a nasty pass.
What do you do here if you're the Titans? You keep moving the cart. That's fantastic. Eventually, you're going to have to engage.
Whoa, he just got logged. That's a logging. Crimzo gone down here as well, so things look a little scary for the Outlaws. They've only got Juby's healing to benefit right now. Dalton needs to go down here, but he gets away. Not enough eyes in his direction. And Dante's been picked off. This very defensive structure for the Outlaws is now being unraveled.
Yes, they may have to make some changes coming in here as the Titans using the Hanzo being able to take the high ground. pick up some huge kills. Dalton with this pulse bomb, and everybody stacking up in that corner. This one could be big.
Pulse there, but okay, can't get across the line anyway. Dalton's going so fast, we can't even see him move. That's how quick this guy is. Insane. And Houston, I wonder if they can keep getting away with this composition. We saw Dallas sort of struggle with this like defensive setup here, but Houston, I think they really suffer getting Happy picked off, and I think it was Crimzo right after that. So Titans are doing a great job getting these really crucial picks.
Yeah. Give you an update as well. That was the 5th melee kill, and we already got the 5. We already got the 5 crit. So
yeah, it has to be within the space of one map, I think, Matt. So not so simple. It turns out, as far as what I've heard. Could be wrong. Could be wrong. Either way, here.
Well, if you counted Happy's headshots, they'd be way past it. Unfortunately, he doesn't play for the Titans.
It might be a little bit of a, an ego death if the Titans had to allow their breadsticks to be achieved by their opponents. I think that's kind of besides the point. But
well, maybe if they counted Crimzo's, he's Canadian. I mean, that would make a bit of sense.
Sure. Yes. That's pretty filthy from Happy there. Obviously, Linksa has a better optimal range than the McCree, but Happy's just a little bit more accurate.
This is what the Titans failed to do, though. Control this high ground. The Outlaws on offense were able to get right up here. Make it impossible for the Titans to play any D.
Oh, Chunksic!
Just hanging out, yeah.
Yeah, not ready for Dante to do that, I think. Chunksic probably like, well, where is everyone? There's no one up here. The Outlaws actually aren't playing on top of the shuttle, just inside of it, which makes them pretty vulnerable to someone like Dalton, to be fair, but means that they're less likely to get poked down by Linksa, for example.
I like bringing in the Ash with the Mercy, though. You're going to need some type of pick or damage trying to work your way up. I mean, maybe you Nano Chunksic, send them up there to the high ground, but the Dynamites try to maybe knock some players down with some poke damage. You need something here from the Titans.
Audacious from Dalton looking for a pulse bomb kill on the McCree. With that a stick, it could have been big news. However, barely in the obituary section of the paper today. To the high ground goes Chunksic, wants to push back. Oh, it's a Piggy flux, baby! Yeah, these ones, they leave a mark. Kill on Chunksic in a D-suit. Piggy to the low ground now, doesn't land the accretion, but has the waggle hands. Gets him a little bit of shielding, but there's a lot of pressure here to deal with. Crimzo really fires up. Getting rid of the mini-diva there is absolutely massive. Bob can't do much here either. I think Junkie turns his back on the Titans.
Yeah, and they burn Bob down really fast. They have to use Rally just to make sure they stay alive on through it. That's a pulse bomb that's stuck, but ended up losing Linkser before. But you see, even when things go almost perfectly for the Titans, that high ground control is so difficult to break. Everybody playing up there for the Outlaws.
In fairness, Piggy was holding Flux just for the takes. In fact, he probably would have settled for a Chunksic, even in Primal Rage, to use the Flux on there. That's one of the biggest deterrents, I think, of trying to walk into this composition. It's not just enough for a McCree Flash or a Brigida shield.
No, but now you see Linkser. You see Linkser go to Widow and then Fire go over to the Brig, which the Brig isn't going to help you. Obviously, take this high ground. Maybe what they're trying to do is get back to the payload. Get the payload moving again, probably. I mean, he's been such a nuisance, but and take the fight on the cart. Maybe that is the idea here. Rolf. Just so much pressure going in on him as Fire's just swinging for the fences.
Flash there on Dalton. He's forced to recall. Dante used his just prior. He knew there was a Brigida behind. There's no recall available. Okay, gets Tubi with the stick. That's a 1-for-1, and Happy's down now. Still Crimzo. Perfect. That was the next most important target. The Titans able to isolate him, while the Outlaws will split between the low and high grounds, respectively. Linksa eventually goes down, but Dante's impact definitely needs to be felt here on the front line because Chunksic is looking large and in charge.
Will you be able to keep this contested? That'll be a pulse bomb eat from FRD, so that's a nice play. Now you've lost Dalton, the contest comes in. This is getting dangerous for Vancouver.
Nicely done by Friday. Gets rid of the immortality field as that self-destruct is ticking over. Great stuff for Vancouver, and they're in a position here to end the map with more time than Houston. But there's a Gravitic Flux Supercharger. There's a lot here for the Outlaws to stave them off. And careful, getting that mech back ain't so easy, but Linksa just rips a bangerang on Dante. Gets rid of the Tracer.
Yeah, and I mean, that's what we know he can do on the Widow. So the Titans in a position here to be able to finish the map as they have to keep both supports alive. They're so low.
The Hyperspheres in this room. That's scary stuff. Supercharger even used their Gravitic Flux committed to this fight as well. It is looking at... Yeah, I know.
They use Nano and they use Rally there.
It looks like an abattoir after that.
That fight is very losable before they even use those ults.
Pride is like, yeah, I'm about to get staggered. It's no big. And here we are.
But now you don't have any. But now you don't have a support ult here for this kind of a last-minute effort, where you would have been able to use the Nano onto Chongsik, and then Primal right after. Create so much space for Linkser. You would have had Rally if they would have. Gotten in your backline, caused issues. You don't have anything of value really to work with. Chongsik in a really good spot as well.
Yeah, Crimso just jumps up there to try and 1v1. Chongsik has
he's got a Primal.
He's got no choice. He barely gets away. He's probably feeling like a wet paper bag right now. Piggy with 2. Oh, it's so gross.
I mean, what do you? Yeah, like you can't have FRD just contest the cart alone into an amp matrix. A Rally would have been great there, you know, or the Primal would have been really good to knock them out of the way. But now you have your walls here from Linkser, but it may not even have a really great attempt. Piggy with his Gravitic Flux could end the game.
Absolute all-star Sigma performance on this map. Shutting down the Titans every time they try and get started. Gravitic Flux, here it comes. Chongsik got nano boosted here, he could still be in trouble. The Deadeye hit him on the way down, and then when he dropped, he would have gone anyway. Beautiful stuff there from Happy. Sat comfortably nestled behind the Orisa shield, and the Houston Outlaws are going to take themselves a second map in this series. Competitive at times for the Vancouver Titans, but the Outlaws map, I think the Orisa Sigma look is one of their, if not the best, compositions for them right now.
And if you're a Titans fan, you have to be happy with this performance, right? Obviously, not in the driver's seat of the series, but putting up a pretty good fight against the Outlaws.
Not too shabby for the Titans, but it's going to take a lot more to topple a potential championship contender like the Outlaws. Stick around, everybody. It's map 3 on the way, and it could be the last one if the Titans don't shape up.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile. And by Xfinity, the preferred internet provider of the Overwatch League. The Overwatch League is brought to you by Pringles. Stay in the game. And by NetApp, the official data management partner of the Overwatch League.
That's right, everybody. It's summertime. We have loved getting to see some of your awesome artistic creations this season on the Fan Art Gallery by Coca-Cola. For the Summer Showdown, submit your summer-themed art, referencing and celebrating the Overwatch League and Coca-Cola for a chance to be featured. You can submit your art over at overwatchleague.com/art-gallery. Matthew, decent looks for Vancouver Titans towards the end of that defensive half, and I would say at moments on their attack there in Gibraltar. Here's your this is one of the reasons why Gibraltar doesn't go so well for the Titans, because your boy Piggy out there #1 on Sigma entering this week, according to IBM Watson.
Yeah, he's popping off. I mean, you see how far away he is ahead of Void, who's in second, right? Where 100 is kind of league average. 121, far and away the highest score in our power rankings by IBM for Sigma. But that's all well and good. We know Piggy is good. What we don't know is where we stand in the quest for bread. We need to take a look. Teru is in for Linkser. Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about that, right? But we're so close. This is actually as close to breadsticks as you can possibly get without already having them. For some clarification, we have now found out that they have to do these within one map. So
it resets
7 ultimate
at the start. Yeah.
So they've gotten 7 ultimate kills through the course of the match. So they would need to do better than that. And 3. A quad EMP, which we have not seen them play any Sombra, which is probably the easiest. If you were the Titans coaching staff and wanted to unlock breadsticks, you would just have to play Sombra. Or 2 full team wipes. They not want to say they're going to lose here on Hanamura, but this may be their last chance to be able to do it.
Look, 10 total ult elims. Surely they can get that within the space of a map, right? Right? Copium? Or rather, hopium? Please.
They've gotten 7 so far.
Well, listen, I mean, a couple big pulse bombs, from Dalton. Maybe we get like a gigantic self-destruction. Listen, I'm just telling you it can happen, everybody.
Well, you could get the double pulse bomb from Dalton, right? And go.
I'm huffing hopium right now. I can't even enjoy the bread. I just want to see this paid off. There's so much suspense. It's like Chekhov's gun.
That is the saddest part. Is like. Yeah, I'm not going to get any breadsticks out of this, but I'm sure there are some people in Canada who will obtain bread.
Listen, Matt, if there's anything we love to do, it's feed the people, Whether it's ranked or via breadsticks.
Well, that's all you guys in ranked. I'm out here trying as hard as I can, and you guys are just throwing my games.
Verifiably
Go back and watch Cus's mod review. He had amazing things to say about me.
No, he didn't. I recommend everybody go and consume Cussler's content because it's great. But also, he didn't. He didn't have anything to do. He actually said you were the worst of all of us. Now that is saying a lot.
Not true.
I literally walked off the car and he still thinks you were worse than I was. Literally, the title of that Castles to Masters video on YouTube is Worst C9 Ever Poop Emoji.
Australian bias, I think. That's probably what's going on there.
Sure, we'll go with that. Yeah, well...
Orisa Sigma here for the Outlaws on offense. They could just TP to the point here. They'd have a very strong comp against what Vancouver is running. As Vancouver runs the Lucio on D here. So, Lucio BAP defense. The speed boost will obviously be good to get around the map, but they also have the teleporter in place where they could have potentially used the break to brawl out.
They're trying to take them by surprise here. The Titans don't have any way of really seeing this. Oh, they're trying to hold the Lucio. Fire plays up high to maybe get a boop as they try and drop down. They managed to section off Junggu for a moment, but then the rest of the Outlaws just sort of jump in there. Here's an immortality field. So that gets used pretty late in the fight. The Titans actually have to use one of their own. They're both removed, and now here's where we get serious. This is now playing for keeps. Chunksik taken down at the start of the fight.
Compositionally, you're just not going to win this. I mean, what are you doing with the Lucio? Like, when they're going to run the brig on the other side.
Right.
I mean, look at the difference in terms of value that GB gets versus Fire. Fire is able to just kind of wall ride around on the point, but GB's in there, in the mix. He's gonna have a rally. They're gonna have rally and Amp Matrix double support ultra ready for this next fight.
We see plenty of Lucio on defense here, but it's not always against the Brigitte setups. It's often in like a Lucio mirror. You know, we often, you know, I guess the Outlaws don't need to worry about speed if they can literally be in one place and then in another in the space of a split second. But they also want to go to the left-hand side. And this is getting spotted. So Fire's able to scout here with this extra mobility, and he gets away before any Holt or any shenanigans could catch him. Now what?
I mean, well, let's see. If Rolf uses his Amp Matrix early, you can just kite it, use the TP maybe even to get away. That'll be a May wall that goes down, and you're going to use the Amp Matrix to break it.
I love that. So clean from Crimson. Knows exactly what he has to do there. And the May wall gets forced. Immortality Field did have to be used, to be fair, but the Outlaws are still here. There's still 6.
And look at all the rally armor they have. They're going to have this rally armor. You're going to have Blizzard, the Symmetra wall. You're going to have your Supercharger here, too, of Rolf in a very odd spot there, not able to see any of his teammates.
Yeah, he dropped down, I guess. He was able to see the enemy team, but really need to be there to be able to heal. Gravitic Flux here from Piggy. Unfortunately, doesn't find enough for the Outlaws here. Chunksick and Dalton already doing a lot of work here on the point.
All right, so big hold here from the Titans. They're able to get a hold. Now they can secure high ground yet again, and the Outlaws burn through just about everything there. So what's good for the Titans is they'll have this sound barrier now for this next fight. Even if that Blizzard comes down, you know, you want to have Fire probably playing, you know, up on one of the walls, you know, pretty high above, come down, land a barrier, keep everybody alive through that Blizzard. So you're most likely going to have this Blizzard coming up on the high ground.
Change of approach here for the Outlaws. Like Matt was saying, of course, those ultimates lend themselves to trying to catch the Titans all in one. TP for Dalton there. That's just to let him transition out of this Blizzard if it comes in. I like that. Wall is up. The Outlaws bait that pretty happily. Now it's time to go the teleport. I love it. They're out of there. Peace. Fried Wiener.
Nice.
Even able to get away. Love it. And Matrix, okay. Here's a broadside coming from the Titans.
I mean, there's... Okay. Well, I think what they tried to do is Amp Matrix and then get a wall preventing them from going back down the stairs, but the wall's a bit late there from Teru.
I love the TP up to the high ground. It's going to mean they can get around the Amp Matrix, but Immortality Field's already going to get used. Piggy charged out of that field to the point. Chunksick, though, had foes waiting for him. Look at this. Junku springs to life and gets rid of Chunksick, but the damage was already done on the high ground by the looks of things. It's just Juby versus all of the Titans.
And it's not going to work out well for Juby. So, although some odd plays there from Vancouver, you're still able to get a hold. So you're starting to put together a really good defense here on point B. The Lucio a little bit more impactful here than the first points, right? A little bit more here to use the speed maneuver around the map, where the first point, you pretty much know it's going to be a brawl in that point. So we'll see if the Outlaws can try and go get high ground again. You'll have a rally to try and muscle your way up through there.
Main this time. TP to the high ground above the point. Whoa, Fire! That's an ice spike that you want to forget. Not great. Fried Wiener obviously playing a bit of an off angle here, but there's nowhere to go, nowhere to hide. He's desuited now. Dante aware that he's a little bit split from the rest of his team, but Piggy has the flux and he gets 2. Teru has to go into ice block. That actually gets him out of the flux itself, but Piggy wants to chase this kill on the May. It's super high value if he can remove Teru from the fight. And this backline from the Titans is getting collapsed upon here. They're barely clinging to life. Fire comes back into the fight with a vengeance, was able to find his opposite number at main support, but that's it. That's all the Titans get here. 1 minute 57 on the clock. Symmetra Wall's in play. Fire eventually forced to succumb. And Teru doesn't even get out of spawn. 2 ticks and counting. Chunksy trying to get to the point, but he's forced to walk into a Blizzard now to be the Tracer to try and stall out for a little while. Immortality Field, though, is misplaced. No one can benefit from that. And it's 1 minute 39 on the clock as we see Houston finish the map.
It could get it could have been worse, though, right? With the way it was looking, because the Outlaws had a very fast point A take. And then the point B defense started to look pretty good for the Titans. A little bit like Gibraltar, right? Where you know, the beginning of the map, it takes them a little bit to kind of come alive, and then they start to pick their game up. We'll see what they decide to run on offense, though, and see if that changes up a little bit. I'd like to see them run the Brig on offense if they play with the Sim and try and play for the point. I think the Brig could be way more impactful than the Lucio is.
The Titans, if they go away from that one, of course, it would be a Baptiste Brigitte approach, which is all that common, really. The Outlaws are going to have the brig here. Juby's looking really good in that role now. They're definitely comfortable just sitting him there. I guess, look, I mean, high level, I guess you have environmental kill potential, and the displacement is handy for attackers. The speed is not as relevant, though, because of TP.
I mean, you play Lucio for the speed, right? And sound barrier. When you know especially with your objective, right, is to get to the point fast with the teleporter, the speed is not really super necessary. And then when you start to get the brawl out, you're going to lose out on all of that the Brigitte provides with the whip shot, the stun, just the passive healing, right? Even on top of the armor pack. So you do lose a lot not having the brig for these kind of brawls in the point.
This is Vancouver fighting for their life in this series, and to avert a 0-12 scenario here. They're over halfway through their matches in the league, and they're still looking for that first victory. Rolf is picked off early by Happy, though. Not a great start, and I wonder what happened. Maybe it was an aggressive TP into the backline. Something really only Houston would pull off here in this kind of matchup.
Yeah, and it looks like also potentially the TP for the Titans may have gotten taken out, because you had some players stuck at the choke, some players on the high ground, and look how aggressive, not letting Chongsa get out with his life.
A difference of approach here from these two teams defensively. The Outlaws want to brawl. You mentioned that they have the brig there, right? So, you know, more reason to fight together,
well,
more
durability. If you're gonna play Ryan, Bap, May, Sim, you're going to brawl as well. It's not like this kind of composition is going to be one where you want to play poke and play from a distance. No Sigmund play, no type of hit scan. You'd kind of have the same approach here for the Titans. You're just missing one large component.
The Outlaws built some decent ult percentage in that previous fight. Gravitic Flux for Piggy. Not out of the question here. Air Matrix going to be completely negated by the May wall to start with, but it had to be an ice block there from Dante. Crimso's Immortality Field is down, but Rolf's already deployed his own, and Fire again is the first casualty. Rolf will go low after that Flux, and Piggy finishes the job with the Hyperspheres. Normally we think of Sigma more used for his poke comps, but again, here on the point, those Hyperspheres can just wrap around the shield of Chunks and get you consistent damage.
Yeah, so we'll take a look at a replay here. This is going to be the Titans TP to the high ground. It's a halt, knocks a bunch of players down. That's really nice there.
I mean, this tank line for the Outlaws was hyped up for a damn good reason. They're living up to it for sure. Another halt here. This could be dangerous. I mean, Dalton does not want to die there. All right, Supercharger, here comes a Blizzard though, and I think, yep, TP out, love to see it. The mobility that these teams are achieving with Symmetra is quite the sight to see. Can't say the same for the Titans in this particular instance, though, as their teleporter is instantly removed. That's a May wall. Here comes that Blizzard. There's no escape via TP here for the Titans, and Dalton eventually is brought down. He gets frozen up. Chunksik is 1 HP, and Teru is, again, gone from terrifying to Teru bad.
Yeah, and you didn't even build up to the sound barrier in time for the Blizzard to come. As the Titans, they still want to fight this. You have both supports and FRD up on the high ground. No supports alive here for the Outlaws. Juby's going to come back on the Lucio just to taxi Crimzo back into the fight.
We get the Terror Doomfist as well. We saw that in map number 1. Looked pretty decent at points. Just tough because he was getting focused out at the start of some of these fights. As May obviously is one of his best heroes. Chunksick, okay, sees the wall. No, you can't do anything. You can't do a damn thing. He knows it too. Gravitic Flux, defensive. Fried Winner, thrown down. The Doomfist for Terror causing problems now. He gets one. Gets Crimzo, crucially. And maybe he's the one that gives some hope here for the Titans in this fight, but Dalton backs it up nicely with some great Symmetra play. The Rock misses and Dalton gets yet another one. The DPS for the Titans going above and beyond here, Matt.
Yes, they get a TP to the back line, and that's where Dalton is able to pick up 3. Coming right behind Dante. No healers, he was extremely low, and they're quite fortunate. You know, he would have been very close to a Blizzard trying to seal the deal there. As Teru will stay on the Doom as the Titans TP across. Where do they go with it? They want to go and try and take some of the high ground as the Outlaws bunkering up around this Orisa.
Yeah, weird situation for the Titans. Vancouver ideally would like to teleport to the high ground, but now that seems like a terrible idea when they have to deal with Brigitte, May, and Symmetra of the Outlaws' zone.
Well,
they
you
can't
also
take
don't
the
have a
direct
May.
approach.
So, like, you have the Doom instead of the May, so you don't have any, like, long-range, like, even shield pressure.
How does
with
Doom get a
icicles,
kill
right?
here?
That's a fantastic question. You don't have a Zarya bubble to, you know, let Teru go in, make a play. You need to have a fight
The
on the
Madmen
point.
did it! Oh! The Outlaws TP'd out. That's ridiculous. The Titans, I guess they tried to force something.
What is this fight? I mean, there are
They
players
TP'd in?
everywhere.
I can't believe the Outlaws didn't just stand their ground. I guess it's a bit tough. You know, if someone gets knocked down, it can go wrong. Dante figures out, by using quantum physics, that there actually wasn't a wall protecting him at the moment and he has to go for an ice block. Now the Blizzard comes out. Dalton down. Another Outlaws fight win here on defense. I legitimately cannot believe the Titans go for that TP play in.
I mean, they have no option. One thing, you've seen it a few times for the Outlaws. Not really as much for the Titans is FRD. He's gonna... I mean, this is just...
Oh, hell. Oh, no! The remake got interrupted!
I know. This is
He
brutal.
couldn't even remake. He's 2 HP! Oh my god, the most disappointed looking Ned Flanders I've ever seen! All the dollary dues in the world couldn't buy him a new mech, Matt. That is devastating.
That is not nice. I mean, the guy's having a tough one. Let him play.
I think someone's in the chat, Crimso's just laughing. Just types that's rough.
That's rough. And then we get a sad. FRD said something in the chat as soon as his mech got interrupted. That buys so much time, though. Like, it's insane.
All right, Brian Wiener back with a vengeance now. Gravitic Flux, though, means that this one is already over again, and don't do it to him again. Give him a hero's burial, Piggy. Don't laugh.
No, Piggy's laughing. I mean, he has to run into the Symmetra turrets just to make sure it's over fast. You know, which could have been three or four bites because of these long staggers. Now it just
They've really dwindled back.
Yeah.
17 seconds left in the round. The Titans have to make something of this. Sound barrier, self-destruct. It's about it. We're running into an air matrix and, of course, Happy's wall, so gotta make sure Fire can get barriers to as many of his teammates as possible. They take the direct approach. Teru looking like he's choosing violence here, and he's gonna have to. Air Matrix on the high ground, pretty scary position. Teru's going to knock Crimzo out of position. Teru going in a solo mission to try and get rid of Crimzo. It doesn't work. And on the point, Piggy finds himself 2 kills. Immortality Field taken down. Rolf just knocked into the sky, or rather Exo boots himself away. And Teru eventually loses out. The 1v1 against Crimzo goes against him as the Doomfist is felled by the Baptiste. And that about summarizes things here for the Vancouver Titans. A hard-fought game against a superior opponent. The Houston Outlaws, just as Johnny asked for on the desk, they take no prisoners.
And I think the Titans put up a pretty good fight, right? Gibraltar goes the distance. It looked like the Outlaws are putting together a tremendous time, and they hold them a little bit there. Hanamura, they're able to take the point, hold a little bit on defense. Still, the Outlaws just a cut above. They look to be one of our strongest teams in this tournament. You're able to play Dante on the things he's great at, like the May, the Sombra, Tracer, Echo, Happy, his Symmetra looks clean. This is going to be a very tough team.
I'm very impressed with what we're seeing from the Outlaws right now. Takes them to 9-1. Played 10 games here in the season. They've obviously started in such a way where it's pretty unlikely that they're going to be missing out on knockouts at the very least here in the Summer Showdown.
And I also think we'll have to get a confirmation. I think with the 3-4 opportunities to get breadsticks, we didn't have it. I mean, that's tough.
We couldn't have gotten any closer. We got as close as we possibly could have gotten without getting a bingo. That is tough stuff here. But let's talk about a player of the match presented by Xfinity. I mean, it goes to the one and only, the Sigma Maestro. It is Piggy. What a sick series from this guy, Matt. He really caught my eye, I think, in that sort of map 1 here. But the Sigma stuff I love it. It's a lot of fun. He dominates with his gravitic fluxes. He understands that it's a really great way of shutting down an enemy tank line. He hits both tanks on the Titans as they on their best dive attempt in that sort of shuttle phase on Gibraltar, and just completely ruins it. This guy is so good at making the enemy team's tank line look like amateurs.
Yeah, whether it's the Sigma, which obviously we showed he's statistically the best in the league at, be the power rankings, or the Diva, just a huge difference maker for this Houston Outlaws team. And you see some of the numbers.
2.8 deaths.
Only 2 deaths for 10 to 24 limbs. I mean, that is just sick stuff from Piggy. And look, you get great performances from him. The support line looks to be clicking. The Outlaws look to be putting it together at the right time. I mean, this is an 8-1 team on the season.
9-1 now, right?
9-1 through the qualifiers. I mean, as good as it gets, not just in North America, but in the league.
Yeah, the Houston Outlaws showing that they might be the best here in the West right now. They're still obviously looking for a fated rematch against teams like the Dallas Fuel, but so far they're a cut above. Very impressive performance from them. So after the break, we'll have a special opportunity to hear some words from our player of the match. It'll be Piggy. Stick around, everybody. Much more to come from today's 4th of July Overwatch action. We'll see you soon.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
Welcome to Game Break presented by Pringles. We're joined now by Piggy from the Houston Outlaws. Piggy, congratulations on the win today. Piggy 선수 인터뷰 너무도 감사드리면서 승리도 축하드립니다.
감사합니다.
Alright, Piggy says thank you. Now, you guys are having a very successful Summer Showdown Qualifiers, beating the SF Shock and the Titans just now. What sort of gives you guys the edge? Would you say that it's the meta, or is there something special and something different about the Houston Outlaws? 자, 첫 번째 질문은 이번 지금 서머 쇼다운 들어오면서 휴스턴 팀이 굉장히 성공적인 서머 쇼다운 지금 토너먼트를 계속 진행 중인데 쇼크도 당연히 쇼크와의 경기도 승리를 거두시고 오늘 또 지금 방금 밴쿠버 팀도 이기셨기 때문에 이제 2경기밖에 안 남았습니다. 피기 선수가 보시기에는 이런 계속해서 이렇게 승리를 거둘 수 있는 이유 중 하나가 이게 메타 도움이라고 생각을 하시나요? 아니면 좀 휴스턴만의 좀 뭔가 특별한 무언가가 있나요?
특별한 무언가가 있는 것 같아요.
Right. Piggy says that he believes that there is something special about the Houston Outlaws. Can you elaborate a little bit on that, Piggy? I know that you said that there's something special, but I want to know just a little bit more. 방금 좀 뭔가 특별한 뭔가가 있다고 하셨는데 그 특별한 뭔가가 뭘까요?
비밀입니다.
Piggy says that it's a secret. Nothing? A little bit? 조금이라도 조금 힌트라도.
안 될 것 같아요.
Alright. I've been shut down, guys. I've tried my best, but Piggy says it's a secret. There is something special about the Houston Outlaws. I hope we could find out. They have 2 more matches, so we'll keep an eye out for that. 뭐 알겠습니다. 더 이상 묻지 않겠습니다. 남은 2경기로 저희가 한번 잘 알아볼게요. 그 특별한 게 뭔지. Alright, let's move on to the next question. You have to, you guys have sort of a difficult schedule, I guess we could say, because Houston Outlaws have to play 4 matches in 7 days. You guys already are done with the 2, but in couple days you guys have 2 more matches, and those are back to back. How does the Houston Outlaws prepare for all these games in such a short amount of time? 자, 두 번째 질문은 이제 이번 토너먼트에서 휴스턴 팀이 좀 힘든 스케줄인 것 같아요. 어떻게 보면 왜냐면 이제 7일 일주일 안에 4경기나 뛰셔야 되기 때문에 이렇게 좀 빡빡한 스케줄을 휴스턴 팀은 좀 어떻게 준비를 하나요?
스크림을 최대한 많이 하는 것 같아요.
Okay. Piggy says that the best way to just practice or to get prepped for these matches or to just do scrims and practice as best as they can. All right, Piggy, that is it for the interview. Thank you so much for your time, and again, big congratulations on the win today. Piggy 선수 인터뷰 다시 한번 너무도 감사드리고 승리 너무 축하드리고 또 인터뷰도 너무도 감사드립니다.
감사합니다.
All right, thank you so much. Let's head back to the desk.
Thank you so much, Danny. Thank you so much, Piggy, for the insight, and of course, a big congratulations to the Houston Outlaws. So much. Hey, listen, we tried.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, guys. I tried.
Hey, you tried your best, and we've all been there. There's nothing more horrific as someone who does an interview than if your interviewee is literally giving you 3 words.
Yeah, but I mean, honestly, he did say something. There is something special. It's not the meta. There's something special about the Houston Outlaws. So everyone could just
it's a secret ingredient.
be on the lookout.
Yep. Yeah. Also, scrims. Just scrim.
Practice.
That's it.
Just practice.
I learned a lot. No, but we do appreciate the time we get with the players, and it is what it is. Loved it anyway. Love you, Danny. Keep on doing it.
Thank you.
Love you too, Piggy. Now, I do want to talk about the game, though. Reinforce, you did say it right when we headed into the game. Outlaws, they should just, play fast pace and dominate. That's pretty much exactly what they did. Breadsticks, unfortunately, remain elusive as ever. Never has a carp been so craved than this. Like, it's actually mind-blowing. We got as close as we can, Costa, though.
Yeah, it's like when you really want like junk food or bad food, and then the less you get it, the more you want it. That's me with the breadsticks. Look at this. We're pretty much there at this point, right? Like we are so close. Like all they needed to do was play like a little bit of Sombra, and we probably would have got a quad EMP. So unfortunately not. There's always next tournament, because I believe that is Vancouver Titans done for the Summer Showdown. But hey, it'll be all the sweeter when we get breadsticks. But seriously, on this match, I think the Vancouver Titans actually looked pretty solid. They weren't incredible. They didn't get any maps, unfortunately, but they were competitive against the Houston Outlaws. And I think Houston Outlaws really showed their diversity with the compositions in this current meta as well. Very good at that Symmetra ball, but were also willing to move over to that heavy bunker style on Gibraltar when they played the Orisa, but even a little bit of Winston to themselves, and they looked solid on everything. So pretty good match. I think we learned a lot about both of these teams in this match, but unfortunately, at the end of the day, Houston Outlaws get a pretty clean 3-0 at the final line.
Yeah, well, I mean, good for the Outlaws and their fans, right? You do want to have that good map differential heading into Summer Showdowns, etc., blah, blah. So, like, nothing to scoff at. I hope to see more from the Vancouver Titans. I actually can't believe that we're more than halfway in and they still haven't won an actual match. Like, that's really rough.
They only got 4 matches left, right? So.
Yeah, and I think looking at their schedule, there are some tough ones in there still. I think towards the end they may face off against Paris, I think, is still in the mix for them.
Spitfire, right?
Yeah, so those are the doable ones.
Someone has to win.
Someone needs to win, it's true.
Someone is going to win.
Yeah, that's how those matches usually go. Well, let's shift gears and talk about, or rather set up the last match of today. We do end the week with Justice facing off against the Mayhem. And now, listen, Washington, they've been swept by Atlanta earlier this week, and now they go up against Florida's new unorthodox main tank, Checkmate. Now, I do have to say, though, and I might just speak for all of us, I just take that liberty. I don't think neither Washington nor Mayhem really impressed any of us with their recent performances. Like, there was nothing where you get too excited about. So what is this match going to boil down to, Reinforce?
I actually think it's going to be a pretty competitive match, Zoe. I think it's easy in this meta to look poor if you're actually losing some of these games, especially when you play the Reinhardt compositions and then you're playing with the Symmetra as well. Because what happens is you try to make a move with the Symmetra teleporter, right? Like, hey, we're going to take this position, and then the better team, they just get the better position, and they're essentially the ones checking you without you realizing. And that's why I think Checkmate is such an ironic name, because he doesn't care for people out checking you with Symmetra teleporters. He just goes and tries to checkmate you immediately, not caring for the overall position. So I actually do think that Washington Justice, while they did lose to the Atlanta Reign, they're still a very competent team. You know, they got some incredible skill on this team, and I think against an easier opponent with Florida Mayhem and Checkmate as their main tank, I actually think that this might become very competitive, and I don't really have a favorite. I think it's a bit of a 50-50 flip. I went with the Florida Mayhem on the basis of that I think that Checkmate brings this aggression and confidence to the Florida Mayhem. And knowing Washington Justice so far this season, they are a bit more timid, sometimes unsure, a bit slower paced. But I think aggression is going to pay out for the Florida Mayhem in this match.
Yeah, and the wise man here on the desk once said he wants to see less checking and more mating as well. So let's see if that's what we're going to get. That did happen, actually. Oh my God, time to mate. This one escalated very quickly. It is time for bold predictions. That wasn't it. Presented by Pringles. Costa, why don't you have a go at it? Mine was, I was so close. I was so close.
You were close. You were close. Well,
very close.
Mine is quite bold because I don't know if this is going to happen. But you know, it's 4th of July. We're patriotic over here. Decay's obviously very patriotic as well. So, 1776 is when the US was founded, or, you know, independence, all that good stuff. And that means that Soldier 76 is going to play the game. I think Decay is going to lock the legs and run it down. Trying to catch up to Checkmate. I think it's going to happen.
Is that why it's Soldier 76? I thought it was because of the gas station.
It has a number 76.
Yeah, I don't know much about lore. I can't help you on that one, Johnny. I'm sorry.
No, I think, I mean, since he's literally the Captain America of the Overwatch League, one might, or not just the league, of Overwatch in general, one might assume that's where the number was borrowed from. Might be the same for the gas station also. It's just the most patriotic gas station you can possibly imagine. Now I know someone who's burning, like actually burning to say some things. And that's Mitch, of course, and Mr. X. Mitch, you just died inside a little bit. Did I see that correct in the corner of my eyes?
Well, not really. No, I'm just not. I don't know anything about this kind of stuff. I'll be honest. Like, I've just Obviously, there aren't many Americans left on this show anymore. We keep replacing them with superior models, so I have to ask this guy.
Left on the show.
Let's ask Matt about history. That'll go great.
I know lots about history. I was wondering, I was like, did we have a Cuss the Keg Friday during the break with the poll prediction? You know, getting the 4 started off early, you know? Yeah, I mean, what was that?
What do you mean? Do you not think the legs are going to be played, Matt? What, is that the problem with it?
No.
Why not? It's 4th of July.
I mean, maybe the Justice do play it, but if they do, I think it's more of like Decay going rogue and is like, yeah, I mean, we're not winning doing what we're doing, so I'll just pick.
That doesn't sound like him at all, Matt. That doesn't sound like Decay at all. I can't imagine he would go anywhere in that direction. All right, I tell you what, Des, we'll have to catch up.
See
with
the way the Justice played last game,
but
I could go in that direction.
I'm just saying. Well, I want to see if this bold prediction comes to fruition. But again, yes, we have America's team going up against Chad, mate. And
to be fair, I have no idea what Custa's actual bold prediction was. I think it was just play Soldier 76.
There'll be legs.
But
Decay. Decay will play the
Decay.
legs. Yes.
Decay. Gotcha.
Which, obviously, yes, based on their previous performance. I mean, the concept of him going rogue is not so outlandish. However, maybe unlikely in this current meta that we see much Soldier 76, everybody. I know, it would be fitting.
I tell you, this is a must-win game, I think, for the Justice. And I don't think it's kind of ridiculous saying that. 5-4 on the overall season. We thought this team would be one of the better ones in not just North America, but the league with the talent that they have.
Yep.
And to lose a game like this against a team, although be it the Florida Mayhem do have talent, playing a DPS player on the main tank role after a few days of practice, you can't lose games like this. With this type of roster, Decay, Assassin, Mag, Fury, like, you can't lose games like this.
The fashion that they lost in as well was not what we expect from this team. Like, sorry, you can be like, oh, well, look, we got, you know, obviously your Mag is a rookie. Sorry, no one else on your team really is outside of Assassin.
This team shouldn't be a 500 level team or like a 2 games over 500 team. Like, they have the talent across the board to be one of the better teams. They just need to put it together.
I will say that Closer has the lowest deaths per 10 minutes of any Lucio player in the league at 3.5. So he's done a very good job of just keeping himself out of the line of fire, which is not something we can say for every Lucio in the league. But again, this team will be going up against a recently retooled Florida Mayhem team. And, you know, a lot of the sentiment from the Florida crowd was that they were really happy, Matt, with how they were already proud of Checkmate. You know, how we turned up and played in that series against the Fuel. We get another map 5 against Dallas, which just seems to be, you know, that's always the way it goes lately. But Checkmate arguably looked his best at Orisa compositions. Outside of that, it was a little shaky.
I think the best thing you can say about his performance is, like, not scared of the moment or take on the role, right? Sometimes it looked a little bit reckless, right?
Sure.
But at least he's trying to make something happen. They're trying to make a play. They're trying to up the tempo and get players like BQB and Yaki in position where they can be successful, like we know they've been in the past. So a lot of pressure on Checkmate. We know the rest of this roster is very talented around him, so could end up leading to a victory here.
Yeah, it's not out of the question. The Justice don't really look like they're super settled so far in this kind of meta, which, I mean, you would kind of think they look good here. This should really suit Washington.
I mentioned, I think this is like a must-win match for the Justice.
Yeah.
You know, if you're the Florida Mayhem and you win this match, and you go 1-1 with Checkmate as the main tank and take the Fuel to Game 5, you know, his performance hasn't been lights out, right? Sure. But you have to be super happy with that. I mean, you will take that, considering where you kind of were, right? Losing 5 in a row, 6 in a row after yesterday.
Well, yeah, this team is mathematically eliminated from knockouts. They are 0-3 right now in the Summer Showdown. And again, suffer a similar fate to many of the teams that sort of have to take the field in week 1. You know, I would say London also, you know, had to get out there before they maybe really knew what other teams were playing, and they had to sort of test their idea of what was the best way to play this sort of unbounded meta, whereas teams that come in week 2, like Houston, for example, they get their own experience, the practice, and then they get to sort of go, well, okay, well, they can look at the rest of the field, see how these compositions perform on week 1, and they can factor into how they craft their own setup when it's their turn to hit the field. I think it was Pre, actually.
Yeah, it was.
Obviously, it makes sense. I can see why it would be upon his agenda to sort of point out how hard it is to play in week 1. But so Pre sort of goes, hey, team, there's a lot of upsets that occur in week 1 in general. I think that was the sort of gist of what he was trying to say. And Matt, I mean, if we wanted to go a level deeper, it might have something to do with that. That information.
But has it affected? When you look across the league, obviously there are going to be upsets here and there.
Yep.
Has it adjusted placements or teams being in spots where we didn't expect them to be? I mean, North America, Dallas, San Francisco, Houston, Atlanta. We expected these teams to be good at the beginning of the season. In APAC, you have the Dragons, the Fusion, Shanghai, Seoul Dynasty. Like, we expected these teams to be solid. So, like, the teams we thought that would be good coming in have played at that level. It just feels like with some of these other teams that are in the middle of the pack, there could be some fluctuation depending on who knows the meta or can play it first.
I mean, this is a really worthwhile stat to have a look at here. Is Winston was so hotly contested, especially during the June Joust meta, but Mag actually boasts the best stats in the league at final blows, primal rage kills, and primal rage efficiency. Now, this Washington team is really middling results, so this is not exactly a group of stats that rises to the top, but this is extremely significant. Especially, Matt, first of all, Oasis is our first map. I can sort of reveal that. So, and following that, we get sort of 66 Anubis and Eichenwalder. So, plenty of opportunities to sort of flex in that Winston direction. I don't know if teams are locked in.
But I think, though, if you play the Winston, let's say, for Washington, Florida can end up playing like the Orisa Sigma double shield stuff and make it even easier for checkmate, right? That's what we saw him at his best.
In fact, that was the comp that they dealt with handily against Dallas.
Yeah, so with the Florida Mayhem, Mitch, they sit at 4-7 right now on the season. Their final 4 games of the year for the Countdown Cup. Atlanta and Boston, and then next week after that, the Outlaws and the Gladiators. That is a brutal stretch of games after this one for the Florida Mayhem to try and turn it around. It almost seems like you need this game right here to have a chance to kind of finish the season at 500 or close to it.
Yeah, crucial wins here from here on out for the Florida Mayhem. Assassin's PC having some issues, so we're going to restart. We're going to restart that, ladies and gentlemen, and we will be taking a brief break while we get that little technical issue ironed out. So we'll see you here in a moment for our last match of the day. It's going to be the Washington Justice going up against the Florida Mayhem here on your 4th of July Overwatch League.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
Gremlins exterminated from Assassin's PC and devices. We're ready to start in just a moment here with our final match of this week. Wow, it's gone awful quick. Washington Justice, who are at 5-4, go up against the Florida Mayhem, who stand at 4-7 for the season.
Yeah, and I mentioned the Florida Mayhem tough schedule coming out of this game for the Countdown Cup. This is their final game of the tournament here. The Justice, you see the first map will be Oasis. Now the Justice, they'll have the London Spitfire next week, and then the Gladiators, and then their final 4 games come against Houston, Gladiators, Toronto, and then the Titans at the end. So, the one at the end against the Titans, you think they're obviously the favorites in that, but some of those other ones, with the way they're playing right now, looking quite dangerous. We have to see a better looking Justice today. I think that is really the bar, the minimum for what you expect to see from them.
It doesn't matter whether Florida Mayhem have OG or, Checkmate or Tank. They're an incredibly scrappy team. You definitely still need to look out for BKB and Yaki, who, look, because of their Team Speed Elite performances, don't always appear in like our top 10 rankings per hero or per role. And also because Yaki plays, a decent amount of off May in some of these compositions. But this is a world-class DPS line for Florida. One that can definitely challenge the likes of Decay and Assassin.
The team should be better.
Both of them.
You see the spray on the side. Yeah, both of these teams should be better. Florida, with the DPS line that they have, the supports, Gargoyle, OG. I think this team would be fantastic. They haven't performed that well this far. So, Orisa Reinhardt, double barrier here, and that's going to be Gargoyle taking out the K straight away. So you just send Gargoyle in, swinging the hammer, and getting a kill.
Even with Checkmate getting knocked down the well at the start of the fight, which is one of the worst heroes to have lost in that way, he's fine. With 5 players, the Florida Mayhem were able to win that fight pretty convincingly to start with. And this is it. This is where Checkmate wants to be, or rather where the Mayhem and their fans want him.
Reaper. So we have not seen much Reaper at all, really, in this tournament. So May Reaper with the Rhine and the Diva in play, as a wall comes in, a counter wall there from Yaki to keep Gargoyle alive.
And alive he stays until the Shadow might cause a problem there. Yes, he falls to the amped Fire Strike from Mag. The Justice now need to spend no more to win the fight.
Yeah, big Shatter from Mag, and then the Fire Strike through the Amp Matrix. That is good enough to get a team wipe. So the Mayhem coming back will have some ultimates and a big ultimate advantage. So they'll have the Symmetra Wall, they'll have Blizzard, and an Amp Matrix of their own. So they can definitely flip this right back.
The Gargoyle Reinhardt. You'll love to see it. Florida Mayhem, never a dull moment with this team. All right, teleporter used there. Wow, they just go back behind the Shatter. It's good. It catches 2. Immortality Field has to be used there, but it's unlikely to be enough to keep at least Fury in the fight. He falls to the Blizzard. And Florida love the teleport hijinks with Reinhardt in the mix. It looks good right there.
4 ultimates have to be invested there, though, for the Florida Mayhem. That is quite a lot. Where now we get a little bit of a break kind of from the ultimate Fiesta. You have Blizzard Barrier for the Justice, but you think Florida will just counter that with a Sound Barrier of their own. So we'll see. Maybe they can get the Reaper in position to do some big damages. Oh, and that was actually Gargoyle looking for the charge through the teleporter, but broken up by the May wall.
Yep, a Florida Mayhem classic play, that one. The Blizzard is very good, though. Assassin makes sure no one escapes from that. And Mag, chewing as he goes, just moves up onto the point here. Both these teams, okay, this is going to be a little bit of a slobber knocker of a series. Both these teams are winning fights in a very one-sided fashion here.
Checkmate.
Again, it was always going to be scrappy.
So, is Checkmate playing like an off tank? I mean, maybe you're just close to the Shatter, so you leave it. So Gargoyle playing the Reinhardt here leaves his whole team to get shattered.
I mean, he didn't leave them. He had no shield, Matt. No shield. He got blown up so quickly. And that will be because of the Amp Matrix from Bebe. So you're caught in a position where you have to walk at length into an Amp Matrix. There's not much you can do there. I bet Gargoyle saying, oh, you should have hid behind the pillar with me, you stooges.
So Shatter for Gargoyle and an Amp Matrix. So TP to try and close the gap. That's the Amp Matrix. It's going to force players into some weird position. It's going to be a Death Blossom from above the May wall.
Now the Reaper Copter from Decay. The Maywall causes problems though. Decay can't really stick to his target, but Mag's able to get rid of Gargoyle there.
And you've gotten blown up so many times on the Rhine that you haven't even had an opportunity to get the Shatter off. You're going to walk into the Assassin Blizzard.
Okay, OT secured there by Gargoyle. Teleport gets the Mayhem on the point, but they're split. They split themselves voluntarily. Oh dear. This is how they keep the round going, I guess. Doesn't seem like the ideal way to stay in, but we'll see how it pans out, Matt. Yaki has a Blizzard. He needs to stay alive, and I think Checkmate knows he needs to keep Yaki up, but he dies, and Pussy gets interrupted. Worst possible scenario here for the Florida Mayhem. This utter chaos sometimes works against them. I guess they're not immune from entropy either. Overtime now. Slime very low as Baby tries to pepper him as he approaches the point. This will be the cleanup, and the Justice take the first round.
Yes, they make the changes right after that first fight. They go over to the Reaper. I want to see what happens with this Florida Mayhem tank line. Do we see more of Checkmate in like a off-tank role? Is that just because they wanted to try and keep the Shatter? Checkmate plays the Orisa. He switched over to Zarya and then some Diva during this. So, see Checkmate back on the Orisa. So, we'll see Checkmate playing the main tank. Gargoyle now going over to the Diva.
This is the Mag. Shatter. Not a thing that you can really do about that. The Mayhem backed into a corner. The Maywall definitely goes a long way. Here we go now. Second round, City Center. No changes to the Justice, except for Decay.
Very static composition. Assassin on the 76, so we will see double hit scan here for the Justice. Florida, they'll play the McCree Torp, and they're also going to play the Orisa Diva, so very stationary. A Moira in the mix as well.
It's the legs, but not for Decay.
Healing. Yeah, not the legs from Decay. It's the Assassin legs. Johnny, so close.
See the turret there up top. BQB finds a headshot, but Decay gets the better of him there. Just riddles him with the body shots. Doesn't need to be flashy to get the job done, this man. Oh, the halt. That's problematic when the micro rockets come into the equation. Gargoyle gets a quick double. All right, Mag's able to find Gargoyle after he is desuited here. Immortality Field had to be used by the Justice. They have the better positioning right now, but it's a question of numbers.
I mean, they get both DPS, but you're going to have them back in the fight very soon. Ant Matrix here for the Justice. They know they need to win this fight quick.
Mag knows he can soak a bit of damage here and put pressure on Checkmate at the same time. Gangnam Jim's built that Coalescence.
Whoa!
Oh, he dies during it! Decay must have hit him with a flash there. There's no other explanation. Flash headshot, that's classy.
I mean, he is off to the side by the jump pad alone. And Decay is chasing him down. He decides to go for the Coalescence. I mean, he changes now over to the Batista. Maybe he wanted to change it anyway to get that Immortality Field. Still an odd waste of a potentially big ultimate. So 20% and counting here for the Justice. So they have some ultimates coming online.
It's a BQB Deadeye that's not going to do anything outside of forcing back the Justice. Mag was there to protect Decay from the hold follow-up. Here's a Deadeye now from Washington. Decay comes forward, aggressive, gets Slime, even with the defense matrix in play. It looks like Gargoyle couldn't protect the Lucio. Speed boost really helps Decay come forward.
Gargoyle's not going to make it out with this mech, so going to have to jump off the side. We'll wait a little bit for him to get back in the fight, but the Justice being so aggressive, taking the fight to the Florida Mayhem. Widowmaker here from BQB. Maybe just trying to get a pick off, and now back to the McCree. So how do you make use of this Torp? The Torp's good if you are able to control the point first. In this type of position, trying to retake, not the best.
Ant Matrix with the tactical visor. Molten Core from Miyaki. Unclear where most of the goop was placed.
It's in like the
Assassin just repositions.
Yeah.
The wrong choke by the looks of things, man. Okay, a little bit over there, some pink, but not a lot. Okay. Yaki has the turret in play now. Self-destruct coming into the backside. Sound barrier being used here. It's going to be Gangnam Jin going down to the bomb. What a high-value pick-off for Fury. Fight's over before it begins now.
I need a doctor.
God, this looks like
Justice
for Decay.
Yeah, I mean, well, one of the things I think Sideshow mentioned, in the match against the Dallas Fuel is how good BQB was against Dallas. But obviously not a hit scan player on the Dallas Fuel like Decay on the other side, as Decay comes up big there in map number 1 playing the McCree and the Reaper, and the Justice take it with ease.
Yeah, a really sloppy looking second round for the Florida Mayhem. They try a bunch of compositions, none of them really work. If you're a fan, you want to be hoping they've got something a little more concrete lined up for the rest of the series as the Justice take the lead here. It's 1-0 in our final match of the week. Stick around, folks. Back in a moment.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile. The Overwatch League is brought to you by Coca-Cola, the official refreshment of the Overwatch League, and by IBM, the official cloud and AI partner of the Overwatch League.
Coming into this match at 0-1 so far in the Summer Showdown. The Justice's fate was pretty uncertain. Really know, how they were going to bounce back, or if they were sort of going to bounce back from a very difficult first game. Matthew, so far they look pretty good against the Mayhem that is frankly just absolutely fruity. The Checkmate plays the Orisa Gargoyle and the Reinhardt, and it looks okay at times on Oasis, but not a great look overall for the Mayhem as they dropped that first map in straight rounds.
I think it's an odd map and odd compositions for both teams there. We'll see how things kind of shake out and normalize as the series goes on, with Route 66 up next. No subs for either team coming in. The only sub available for Florida would be OG. We don't see him in this series as they want to try the Checkmate tank out. So, but first map is dominated by the Justice. You have to give them that. Although it's a little bit of a crazy, wacky scenario, we do have the Justice coming out on top in big fashion. We'll see if Florida can find some life here on Route 66.
Am I supposed to put my hand on my heart right now? No? Okay.
What?
Route 66, where it's going to happen.
What?
We'll have the Florida Mayhem starting on defense here. You probably expect to see Matt, surely like an Orisa comp here, yeah?
Probably, I think, on defense. Also, did you see the people are scared now of the tiles in the spawn on Route 66?
Oh, why's that?
Because people say they look like teeth going all the way across.
Oh.
And evidently, when you look at it, you can't kind of unsee it. So, something I saw.
Is that like
there.
when you look at Tom Cruise's teeth and realize like his two front teeth are slightly offset to one side, that like you can't ever look at him the same way again?
Is that true?
Like the gap between his two front teeth is like way towards like one side. It's super weird. Go look at it.
It's kind of odd. Yeah, I've never really kind of taken the time to look at his teeth.
Oh,
yeah,
they look like teeth!
They do look like teeth. Yeah, how odd is that? Yeah.
Well, thanks, Matt. Brilliant.
Double shield like the Justice as well.
Okay, so Mag and Fury here.
Yeah.
On the Orisa Sigma setup. Okay, I'd like to know, right, so when the Mayhem are playing this, why do you think you want double shield here on the offense? Do you want to play anything else? Or play something more like mobile with Brian or something? Or
So this is a little bit of where my concern was going to go, is Checkmate gets so low. They're going to keep him alive. As Decay takes out BQB. Was that like the Justice would just end up matching this? And really, this is what the Mayhem looked the best at with the Orisa Sigma shield compositions, and that the Justice kind of played themselves into a bit of a loss. But I know Decay getting that pick off at range. So much damage with the Hanzo and the Echo. You're able, if Checkmate or anybody else really gets out of position, you're able to just burn them down so fast. Don't think we're going to see a contest here for Florida, so they're going to give up that first checkpoint already.
I'm a little concerned that this might blow out somewhat after the Florida Mayhem there got absolutely decimated on that first point. BQB switching over to the Widowmaker. Yaki on the Tracer here, so very vastly different DPS picks between the two teams. Assassin obviously needs to respect BQB, but can really break line of sight from the Widowmaker quite easily on this part of the map. And that card is unharried so far.
The Widow's not providing any shield break, so they're able to move up, win that shield war. You see how aggressive Checkmate is. You have to play with the Tracer. The Tracer's got to be the one to get the picks off here.
DK's in a great spot to pressure the enemy Orisa here, but Yaki and Gangnam finally have struck, and they strike true. So Magna goes down first. DK could still be a factor late in this fight here, but losing Fury now means that your staying power is severely compromised.
And Closer uses Valk here. Not even going to be able to get a res. This is one of the odder positions you're seeing this team fight out of. You're able to keep Bebe alive for the time being. He jumps in Ant Matrix as he gets taken out. And this is not able to use. This is what in the world? We have a duplicate here. The card is somehow still moving, by the way.
Yeah, Assassin duplicates Sigma just to move card.
But like, look at the position he's in. You have the Widow with the cross. He's in so much trouble. He's gonna live. He's gonna get out. He's gonna get out, or he's at least gonna live. But wait, the support. So Hanzo is stuck in the choke. Okay, so we get Decay out of there.
Right.
The card is still moving. This ends up being a net positive for the Justice in the end.
Forcing fights. They're still making progress here. Gravitic Flux from Fury.